the landlord's game, invented in the 20th century by somebody who wanted to demonstrate that rent impoverishes tenants and enriches landlords, and is a terrible, terrible idea. You know, now that same game, called Monopoly, taken by a very fancy big company, is used to teach kids about capitalism, but not in the way that was originally intended. Hi, I'm Dr. Andrew Wilson. I'm a lecturer here in mathematics and statistics on the Learning, Teaching and Scholarship track, and currently I'm running the larger of the Level 1 mathematics courses. Teaching in mathematics traditionally involves a textbook with a set of exercises at the end of it, a lecturer to go through the pages of the textbook. Students are then left to their own devices traditionally to go through the exercises, construct their own feedback, and go to the lecturer with any problems, probably in office hours. But the structure has essentially remained unchanged since Lord Kelvin's day, since we moved to Gilmore Hill. I think the key feature is bringing exercises out of the back of the textbook and into some physical objects that the students can share, pass between them, that you've got some physical spontaneity, you've got social spontaneity, and you've got cognitive spontaneity, which is all, which is play, which is playfulness. So what are the resources? What are these playful activities? What are they? They're card games, they're games with mini whiteboards, they're physical activity with students standing around a board, a whiteboard or a blackboard. I can construct activities of cards. The key idea here that I'm doing is having kind of multiple representations of the same object or multiple facets of the same object. For example, if you were trying to get someone to understand the letter A comes in many different fonts. It looks quite different in capital and in small case, but these are all effectively, you know, you could have 4 different cards with A's that are all representing the same concept of A, but you might just dump a whole load of letters on cards with letters on them and ask the students to match them. Or maybe you just say arrange them, and you step back and you're not even asking them to. Perhaps the rules of the game are negotiated socially between the tutor and the students. In the sciences, there was this really interesting study, Ruth Bernstein's study on MacArthur Fellows in the US, and the creativity of these sort of highly prestigious academics. They all cite play as a vital component of understanding their subjects and developing new ideas. I mean, you can't develop a new idea unless you first imagine it, and this is play. So in some sense, it's very, very authentic assessment to work in the natural and formal sciences in a playful way, because that's how we all do it. That's how we develop new ideas. When you embed play and playful activities in the learning experience for the students, the feedback is instantaneous, it's social, it's perfect for mixed abilities because the students expose their thoughts to each other and, of course, to the tutor. I mean, this is also a really exquisite formative assessment tool for the tutor. Students are really very, very good at hiding their abilities from their teachers. With these activities and with this approach, it's very hard for them to hide from themselves, from each other, and from the tutor. I give them sample dialogues of how interactions may go. I talk to them about the need that they're a facilitator in the social dynamics of the class and less of a source of information, that they should be questioning answers and not answering questions. The student should almost be frustrated with the teacher that they're not getting their questions answered. It should be a Socratean dialogue where it's just question after question that's posed to the learner. Well, in the course, I've got a course that has play embedded as a core activity of the entire course, and the students get exceptionally high grades. This is almost, for 3 years it's been running, I've only given out A's and B's, and mostly A's. These students mention it in their course feedback. They don't talk about the tutorials at all, other than to say, wow, it was really good, those activities in class were really good. So observing the students with this method, they're compelled to engage. The students are not able to sit back and not participate. The group, the social aspect of the activity forces everyone to be present, to be engaged, to be active. There are some practicalities if you want to introduce this method. For example, you're going to need to spend some time preparing these activities. You're going to have to spend some time making them. There's a lot of a front load to the work you have to do. I would suggest these activities should be thought of as a core part of the activity with extensions. This allows you to be very flexible in class, to keep going with an activity or to cut it short. Teaching in this style requires you to step back. It requires you to bite your tongue and not give answers to students. And it requires you to really hone your observational skills. You need to be using your ears, using your eyes, observing the social dynamic, and trying to gently steer students back into a sort of social cohesive group, which is a very different role to standing in the traditional lecture at the front and delivering exactly what's on your page to the room.